I will start by introducing ourselves today. With us, our guests, special guests, new joiners to 10 Square Games family, Antonio and Roberto. Also Piotr Królewski, head of M&A, and Anna Idzikowska. We'll cover 3 topics today during the update. We'll talk about the acquisition of Rortos. We're entering flight simulation segment together with our colleagues. We'll talk about Fishing Clash China and investment in Sisu Ventures. Okay, I hand over now to our colleagues to introduce themselves.
Hello, everybody. Roberto Simonetto, founder of Rortos. I love science subjects. I started programming very young, and I did bioinformatics, project manager for web software, and research and development for 10 years in business intelligence and big data analysis. This is my technical background. On the other hand, I always been a flight enthusiast, so I started flying with gliders when I was 20. And over the years, I had the opportunity to enjoy flights with the military jets, helicopters, and now I fly with small sport aircrafts. Rortos, our company, was born from the union of these 2 great passions. I had the perfect mix of all necessary skills and knowledge, and during 2011, so 10 years ago, I developed and published in complete autonomy F-18 car landing, my first video game and the first car landing simulator in the market. F-18 immediately had a great response from public and critics, and this success made it possible for me to found a company without any external contribution. Then over the years, the growth was very quickly, and then I met Antonio for a new start together. I'm very, very happy to become part of the TSG family, and we are all in Rortos excited about it. Thank you. Antonio?
Thank you, Roberto. Hello, everyone. So my name is Antonio Farina. I've been in the gaming business since more than 30 years. I founded a company in the beginning of the 90s called Milestone in Milan, which I founded and managed for 20 years. The company is still the largest developer and publisher of video games in Italy. Then I left the company and started a new company in the mobile market, and then I met Roberto. We are casually both from the same city. We joined forces in 2018. So Rortos acquired Reludo, and I became a shareholder of Rortos. And since then, we further evolved the company, creating new innovative products and conquering basically leadership in the specific flight simulation market. The company, you can see the numbers on the slide. So we have very good margin. It's very efficiently managed in the sense that it reutilizes a lot of assets in order to quickly deploy new products and new ideas. Last year we went through 25 million installs, so that's a pretty good achievement, and we already accrued more than 200 million lifetime installs since the company was born. We have 3 main live titles. We're going to see them just in a short, and more titles under development. And we both concentrate on the commercial and military flight subgenre. We have a well-balanced revenue stream between in-app purchases, subscription, and ad revenue. And the team size currently is 20 people. So let's have a look at other titles. So Airline Commander is our main title in the current catalog. It was a challenge. I mean, we believed in this kind of hybrid basically business model. Traditionally, flight simulation are based on a more traditional approach, let's say, so just either premium or free with in-app purchases. So we wanted to innovate, and we introduced a free-to-play model, so classic free-to-play with virtual currency and so on, which is sustained by in-app purchases and rewarded video ad monetization. The product was very successful and has a huge visibility on the store, and we had more than 40 million installs since the beginning. Real Flight Simulator is the most recent product we launched. That's more a hardcore simulation. And again, we're innovating here in the business model because the product is premium, just a small price for the premium part is 99 cents, and subscription. So we are, learning a lot on the subscription model, and the product is already out since a couple of years, and it's working pretty well both in terms of product and the monetization model. Extreme Landings is one of the oldest products that have been created and successful back in 2014 launched. And again, this is a free product based on a more classical in-app purchase and ad, so video monetization. So it already accrued more than 24 million lifetime installs, and it's still performing today and bringing some good revenues anyway. So something about the future. The main products we are currently working is a little bit a sort of, I wouldn't call it exactly a departure from what we did. So it's still obviously flight related. It's probably a little bit more action oriented, and it's a real-time free-to-play multiplayer game. So it's quite innovative. We've been investing heavily on this product, and we believe it's going to make a huge difference to the Rortos catalog and bring a lot of new players and wider demographics. It's based on a free-to-play model, so in-app purchase and add rewarded video monetization. It is currently in closed beta, and we are convinced that there is currently, nothing like this with this kind of quality and deepness and possibility also of monetization with a lot, upgrades, new planes and so on. So that's based on World War II. Obviously, it can be expanded towards more modern era, and we strongly believe in the future of this product.
Okay, we'll now talk about the opportunity. So first of all, the simulation market is something that we've been doing for quite a while. We promised to the market that we'll look for strategically at our segment and what is that we can do. So we decided to move with Rortos because it's a great segment that we understand. It's growing fast. We think it will continue to grow. It's not the largest segment, but it's a very, very good segment. And if you look at the KPIs, the one KPI I want to refer to, in 2020, the record year for TSG, we had 50 million downloads between our two games. And, Rortos is roughly half of that. So we do believe there is a potential to deploy our know-how and actually, working together and build something very, very interesting. So our hypothesis is actually that we will, take the portfolio of Rortos towards the performance of our core games. In terms of rationale, there's 6 reasons why we did it. One is, we were looking for diversification of portfolio. So in simulation, that's the very logical step. It's a fast growth segment, as I just mentioned. So, it's good to be there, and there's lots to go for, we believe. Rortos, gentlemen have built the leading flight simulator studio. Actually, it's probably the largest by the number of titles produced in globally, and gentlemen, they really know with the team what is that they do. Very interesting flight simulation engine. Quite a few people tried to build the engines for flight simulation. There's winners in that contest, and they are together with us. We're very happy. It's not easy to build an engine like this, so that was a good reason to do it. We spent quite some time together discussing this opportunity. Gentlemen bring a lot, many years of experience, and there's a great team working together with them. We think that's a great promise for the future. We're super excited about working together. And then the synergies. We're talking primarily top-line synergies, so it's about exchanging know-how and how can we leverage things we've learned and help colleagues to build the business for the future. So in terms of synergies, these are the areas we will be working along 6 dimensions. One is the user acquisition. So, our team has been preparing to actually, accommodate other studios. So we're ready to help with user acquisition. We have certain know-how at TSG. It's around the Clash meta game. So we'll deploy certain solutions working together with Rortos, trying to bring our know-how into their products. We'll build live operations, which are critical to free-to-play model, and that's something that Rortos is starting right now. We are a very data-informed company. We have certain BI solutions, business intelligence solutions, and analytics that we'll deploy to Rortos. We'll share the know-how with our Verona friends. Then we have customer support and VIP services at TSG, quite important in the model we're operating in. So out of Wrocław, we'll provide that service to Rortos. And then last but not least, we'll try to help with recruitment. With larger organization than Rortos, we have our HR function, so we'll definitely help to search for talent. And this is the plan. This is the things that we will do over the next 180 days in the first place, and then over the next 12 months, we believe that over the next 18 months, we'll create a lot of value between the platforms. So first of all, it's all about connecting Rortos to our infrastructure. So we'll work on that for the first 6 months, and we'll also start to work on building the meta game. So our machine learning systems, the BI tool set, and also connecting with our services teams. So that's something that we'll start working on immediately. And then over the next 12 months, we will work between the platforms on exchanging know-how and trying to drive the business. And actually, the synergies in that area are working both ways. So we'll learn from each other on the product side. And that is the plan. And Piotr now will talk about transaction insights and how we got there.
Thank you, Maciej. So in terms of transactions parameters, as we have mentioned, the enterprise value is 45 million euro. This gives us an implied valuation multiple of 9.8 times EV/EBITDA. We are making the customary adjustments for net debt position at the company. So the equity value is 46.7 million. As you could see in the earlier slides, the company is very successful and is cash generative. So we're making this adjustment to reflect this. As we said as well in the announcement, we are acquiring 100% of the shares in Rortos, and we are going to have earn-out payments, top-up payments to the shareholders, entitling them to the profit, part of the profits from the second half of 2021 up until the end of 2025. And this is written. We have this specified in the SPA, and there's a formula that reflects this. In terms of anti-monopoly approvals, we do not require any additional approvals, so we can proceed to completion and closing, which is expected next week. Thank you.
Okay, so time for me to jump into another topic, another big news coming from Ten Square Games and Fishing Clash, something we've been waiting for a really long time, something the market was waiting for and asking for a while. So I'm happy to announce that Fishing Clash has finally been granted with the license to distribute the game in the Chinese on the Chinese market. So we are excited. We have a plan for the next few months. We have long-term plan with our partner NetEase. We've been communicating with the partner for a really long time. We have intensified our relations during the last few months while we were expecting the license to come during the next few batches. But maybe before we move to more explanation about the development plan, let me remind what was the journey behind that milestone, that success for Ten Square Games. So we signed an agreement with NetEase back in December 2018, and that's when we also started preparing the game and localizing the game for the local market. We've been in touch with our partners, both business-wise and product-wise. We were going for the adjustments to the Chinese regulatory requirements, and the first milestone, the first goal was to land in the initial approval waiting list, what happened in late December 2019. Since that day, we were actually awaiting the final license to be issued, but it doesn't mean that we were not working on a title or cooperating with the partner. We were in day-to-day cooperation mode with NetEase on both product development and adjustments to the Chinese market. We were also constantly preparing for launch on local platforms. We were experimenting with the team. We were collecting people to work with the title. And it took us a year and a half to finally get the license. This year, in 2021, there were only 2 batches of games approvals. The first was the first batch of licenses were granted in February 2021. That the second one was officially announced on Monday. So we are among 76 games that were granted the license to be distributed in China in 2021. And this second batch led 33 games to start operations in China. We were one of them. And what happens now? Short-term plan for Fishing Clash China is to launch on major platforms during the next few weeks. We will start testing user acquisition with our NetEase partner. The fact is that NetEase is responsible for marketing and both performance marketing, user acquisition, paid user acquisition, organic traffic delivery, but we are obviously consulting, we are around, we are contacting our partner on daily basis, and we are preparing, and we've been preparing all the plans together. Also, the short-term plan is to launch live ops, obviously release the game with ISBN number on major platforms. Then we will move to the medium-term plan. We will be boosting user acquisition, both performance marketing, as I said, and some brand-related activities, PR activities, press releases, influencer marketing, community building. All of these activities will be launched. We will also expect store featurings on both iOS and on Android stores. We will continuously drop new content to the game and offer tested live ops coming from our global version of the game. It will be a mix of both approaches. The first is that we have a long history of serving Fishing Clash to global and Asian audiences. The second thing is that we are constantly consulting with our partners from China. They are suggesting the events, they are suggesting the content, the order of content drops. So we have a long backlog of events, long backlog of content, and also we have partners who help us with that. And the long-term goal for this cooperation is obviously to be on top of rankings on the biggest mobile gaming market in the world. And the second thing is that we will be also thinking of how to be better in entering with new free-to-play games on the Chinese market. We have a rich portfolio of games, and definitely Fishing Clash is not the last game we are thinking of conquering Chinese market with. Yes, thank you.
Okay, now we're handing over to Piotr to talk about our investment in the VC fund Sisu. So Piotr.
Sure, of course. Thank you, Maciej. So what we wanted to mention as well using this occasion is our investment in Sisu Game Ventures, the third fund of Sisu. We have declared the investment of up to $3 million, out of which part will be transferred after the first capital call, which is happening now. Sisu is the most active venture capital fund in games industry, and specifically in mobile games industry, with over 58 investments, and they're reviewing over 150 investments annually, specifically in this niche in which we are present as TSG. They are one of the first 2 games industry investors, venture capital funds in the world. They had amazing portfolio exits to companies like Zynga, King, Amazon. You might have seen and probably are aware of Small Giant, which was a $1 billion acquisition and Sisu was an investor in Small Giant. The team behind Sisu has great experience. They have started over 16 game studios in the past over 30 years. And they are an early stage investor, so they are able to recognize the potential of the studios, and they're very kind of first money in a majority of their investments. On the page, we have presented a couple of portfolio studios of Sisu, and also we would like to talk about the benefits for 10 Square Games. So what we are receiving through this investment is access to Sisu's global network, information about the deals that they review. We have global recognition thanks to the fund's co-investments with top mobile gaming brands. We are enhancing our know-how of where the market is developing, since these studios are often very innovative. And also, last but not least, we have a potential for strong returns, as Sisu is as well one of the most successful VCs in the world and in mobile gaming.
Okay, so we just wanted to sum up with the summary of our strategy and an update on the strategy status. So about 12 months ago, we said that the strategy of TSG will be about going outside of Wrocław. So continuing the development of the studio that was set up in Wrocław 10 years ago. And we very focus on delivering within the studio, talking about it every quarter, so I'll not spend much time on it, but we keeping the course here. We talked about looking for talent outside of Wrocław. We are now having studios in Warsaw, very soon opening up Berlin, and we also started a Bucharest studio because there's great talent in Romania, and we thought it would be very good for us to have access to that market and bring some interesting people to work together with us. And then the final pillar of diversification and strategy of TSG was M&A. It's been a very dynamic market over the last 12 months. We've reviewed a number of companies. We've come to a conclusion on where we want to go with investments in M&A. Rortos is a great example of a very good fit with what we do, and lots of opportunity to go for. So we're super excited about it. We're adding up Sisu, and that is a lens for us to look into the industry. There's lots of innovation going on. There's a lot of people moving around. There's about 150 opportunities reviewed by Sisu, and that will just give us a very good insight into the market that otherwise standalone basis we need to run a big team of people to have access to this. So we are moving on with the strategy. We're continuing with that. We now have kind of all the engines working, and we're very happy to confirm that Fishing Clash is a nice add-on to our core strategy. We knew it's coming. We were certain we will get there into this market. Now we're there. It's taken some time. Some people were impatient, but we were just doing what we said we will be doing. So getting ready for the entrance, and we will continue to work on that work stream. So I guess on here we could stop for questions and try to answer together questions you might have.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, the first question. Please elaborate on the earnout scheme included in Rortos acquisition agreement. What are the factors impacting the percentage of EBITDA that in 2025 will be paid out to the founders?
Okay, I'll say, so this is the part of the M&A know-how. The way we set up the earnout, it's something we will not comment in detail. We're bound by contract. There are formulas in the contract which are calculating the amount. I think the main reference point is the maximum value of earnout, which we disclosed in communication.
What synergies between 10 Square Games and Rortos have you identified?
Okay, I think I talked about it. So, I don't want to repeat myself. It's on the slide. That's something I described.
We know the number of the employees of the acquired entity, but how many game developers were or are involved in the Rortos productions?
Antonio, Roberto, would you like to answer?
Yeah, sure. Well, it depends on the product, obviously. So basically, the back catalog, which are products released before 2018, are just supported from a technical point of view. So very, very small resource allocated on these products. We have more products. I mean, obviously, most of the team is currently allocated on warplanes, so the new combat flight simulation that we're developing. We have a small team dedicated to real flight simulator, which is continuously releasing every 2 or every 3 weeks a new update to the product, because that is part of the subscription business model. And regarding extreme landings, that's part of the back catalog, basically.
Okay. Thank you.
What is the background of the deal? How and when did the process begin, and did Rortos team consider multiple offers?
I think we can split answering. So Piotr, if you can start on our end, how we got to Rortos, and then Antonio, Roberto, if you can elaborate on your impressions from the process.
Sure. So I'll talk to the point about how we approached the process and how we were involved here. So Rortos came up through the tools that we were using to monitor the market. So we reached out to the company, but also Rortos has a financial advisor, and there was a process that started in April, where I understand there were several bidders. We went through the typical preliminary offer and final offer process, where our offer was selected for the final negotiations, which resulted ultimately in the signing of the transaction documentation on the 30th of June. So it came up using our radars. We are obviously, as we said earlier, we're interested in simulation games. Rortos is the best flight sim studio. So that's the reason for which and how we actually approached the company.
Okay, Antonio.
Okay, yeah, I can say on our side, yes, of course, we evaluated multiple offers and we received multiple offers. Obviously, the period is particularly busy in terms of acquisition. I'd say that the rationale on which we took our decision was not based too much on the economic side. It was more based on the future and the strategic opportunity of growing. One of the aim we had in entering into a deal was that of basically looking for a partner that would help us accelerate where we wanted to go, and grow the company and access to the expertise on user acquisition, on improve monetization and so on. And so we felt at home with TSG.
Okay, thank you.
Can you elaborate on what is included in EBITDA multiplier normalized by the capitalization of personnel costs? How to understand this fragment of press release?
Okay, we just the adjustment that you see, it's an adjustment related to the development of the dogfight simulator, and this is in line with the policies of TSG. This is an estimate. It's not a concrete number. It's not very big. Let me put it this way. It's not very material.
Could you please elaborate about Rortos' cost structure? EBITDA margin above 70% seems to be elevated, as Apple or Google store cut is 30%.
Antonio, would you like to explain how you
provide information here? I'd say that is the result of the efficiency we have on the development of our products. Basically, we have a lot of shared technology inside, which allows us, with a small team of 20 people, to have developed and published 11 titles during the years. So we're very, very efficient on that side, and that's one of the reasons why we have very low cost. The other thing maybe you can consider is that we didn't run user acquisition, so we are on. The revenue coming till 2020 were all based on organic. And so that's another reason why we have obviously a lower cost impact.
Yeah, and I would only add that this efficiency by Rortos is something that we seem very, very interesting. I talked about the simulation engine, which is very important, all the systematic approach to building such games, which is great. And also, the way we will work with Rortos going forward, we'll deploy our user acquisition toolset to that. So that means, we're looking to grow revenue and EBITDA of the business over a period of time. Maybe margins will decline, but we'll need to see how this will go. But it's all about growth. This is a growth story for TSG.
Could you elaborate what potential size of sales you can expect for Fishing Clash in China?
So I don't think I can be super detailed with my answer, but what I can say is that, first of all, we think of our Chinese journey as of a long-term experience and a long-term goal. So basically, we will be building a user base. We will be experimenting with different approaches to different segments. We will be checking what kind of players are interested in our game in China. We know the market is different to the markets we've been experienced with before. That's why we decided for a experienced partner who can show us the road. What we can say, though, is that Chinese mobile gaming market is the biggest market in the world. We know that sports games, and we assume Fishing Clash is a sports game, are very popular in China. So our expectations are big, of course. But what we will deliver, what we will be work with is our smart growing strategy. So we have already discussed a few scenarios with our partners in China, but we all believe in smart growing. So we will be deciding on weekly and monthly basis what are the opportunities we have, what are the risks, what are pros and cons. So we will be definitely more ready to deliver more information about the potential and how it's going in the next few weeks and months.
I was wondering if there are other 10 Square games in the pipeline for Chinese regulator approval.
Not yet. We would like to see how Fishing Clash, our biggest title in the portfolio, is performing in the Chinese market. We know it takes time, but now we are more experienced. We are smarter when it comes to the whole process. So we will definitely be faster in future, but we need to see the potential, and we love checking real data. So now we will be observing Fishing Clash there, and we will definitely start, let's say, deciding about the opportunity of the other games in 10 Square Games, bigger 10 Square Games portfolio now, and the opportunities it may have in China.
The acquisition seems attractive at EV EBITDA multiple. However, the earnout option may add up to 4.5 times EBITDA to the price, which makes it less appealing.
Yes, for you, yes. From a 10 Square Games, there's different ways of looking at valuation of companies. I think the upfront multiple is the price that was paid, and the remainder of the price paid over the years is related to the performance, strictly to the performance of the company. So if it's going well, then the price will increase, but it will create a lot of value for TSG if Rortos becomes big, and then we'll be delighted to pay the earnout, and that's how the market operates these days in acquisitions in the gaming segment. And we've reviewed a lot of transactions, and we thought this is the right price for Rortos potential.
Why did you allow for such big earnout payment?
This is not us allowing. I think it's a difficultly asked question. This was a process run by professional advisors, and the price was a derivative of that process. So we had to be competitive. As Antonio mentioned, it wasn't only about price. So if that can help you to see how we thought about it on both ends, it was about creating the opportunity to create a lot of value. And the decision on the seller side was to come with TSG at certain conditions too, because they thought we can create a lot of value and together. And that's exactly the same feeling on our end.
When do you expect first revenue boost due to synergies for Rortos games? when will you start user acquisition for Rortos games?
So as we said, we have a chart. You can look at it later. So the phase one is really about providing all the infrastructure, and that also includes user acquisition capabilities. We're starting immediately, and we'll see how much time it takes. Those of you who are following TSG closely on the user acquisition, we're using smart growing techniques. So we're investing as much as we believe makes sense at a certain moment in time.
But let me add here that we have already selected a team of people who will be supporting our Rortos family member. We were discussing also with Antonio and Roberto the plans for the next few months. And obviously the idea is to implement smart growing policy to Rortos games as well. But we have plans for bigger user acquisition. First of all, we need to see data in a way we are used to. But we will be using a lot of synergies between audiences, also Fishing Clash or Hunting Clash. We believe that there is a lot of audience-related synergies between the titles. We will be also cross-promoting. We will be going for performance marketing. We have plans also to support with wider brand activities. So you will definitely see a lot of moves regarding the Rortos titles in the next few months.
There's a question for Antonio. What about Reludo and if it conflicts with Rortos?
Okay, no, there is no conflict with, okay, let's say this, Reludo has been left a bit aside since I stepped in Rortos, so all my efforts have gone mainly towards, growing Rortos in the last 3 years. Reludo has a back catalog, which is still producing some money. It is basically, just being technically updated. So let's say it as exactly as the back catalog of Rortos. So that's not creating any kind of conflict. Reludo is an opportunity. Should we decide to publish a title which is not in the in the flight genre, so it's there more as a publishing opportunity more than anything else. But all our current efforts are mainly concentrated on Rortos.
Okay.
Could you say where you are in the strategic options review process, how it's going, whether your statement brought much interest from abroad?
I think we won't comment on the development of strategic options until we have news to communicate.
How different is the technology behind developing the flight simulator game on mobile versus on PC or console? If there is a possibility that MSFT could enter the mobile space with their simulator game?
Antonio?
Okay, well, there is always the possibility of new competitors in the market, no doubt about this. The difference is, well, it's still code. So at the end, mobile or a console or a PC are all computers, basically. So there isn't this huge difference. I would say there is more a huge difference in terms of user interface. So usually a product that comes from a PC is, although from a code point of view, could run on a mobile because mobiles, nowadays are pretty powerful, but you would miss the, mobile custom experience. So I'd say the problem really lies more in how you handle the product and how you create a mobile experience more than on the technical side.
We're waiting for the next question, yes.
Is revenue reported net or gross of App Store?
We're talking about Rortos
Yes.
revenue? That's net. That's net of App Store fees.
Okay.
Does Rortos book revenues gross or net of store fees?
We just answered.
I think we just answered this question, yeah.
When do you expect first revenues from China?
It will start just after releasing the game with in-app purchases in the Chinese stores, and that should come in the next few days or weeks.
Can you please elaborate on two things? First, the revenue split per games, free-to-play versus paid. And secondly, whether Rortos premium games, including Real Flight Simulator, are expected to be also shifted towards F2P.
Okay. Well, the only game I would really consider as a premium game is Real Flight Simulator, and there was a particular reason why we wanted that to be premium, because we were entering a specific, hardcore niche of Flight Simulator, and apparently other competitors were using the same model, so we wanted to compare the performance of the product at the same level. All the others are free or free to play, which are two different things, obviously. So it's either freemium or free to play. The current top performer is Airline Commander, which is a free to play game. And what was the second question? Sorry, could you repeat that?
Was 10 Square Games offer price the highest in the process?
No. So the question was if the premium games, including Real Flight Simulator, so basically Real Flight Simulator, may become or are expected to become shifted to free-to-play.
Okay,
model.
sorry. Yeah, sure. That's an option we're evaluating together with TSG, and we will see very soon. I mean, we're going to test new models and see what's the best one for the product.
I think we are open to seeing what the best opportunity for 10 Square Games and Rortos is. 10 Square Games is strong with free-to-play games. Rortos has more experience with premium games. We would like to meet somewhere in the middle and check the opportunities we may have together. So we are not close to an opportunity, but we will be curious and we will try to find a model that is best fitting for Rortos games, definitely.
Okay.
Was 10 Square Games offer price the highest in the process, or did the founders choose lower offer because of the expected synergies?
I think I can't comment on this.
Yes, we move with the next question. I think that's the answer.
What is the general economic split sharing model for the expected Chinese revenues? Platform fees, net is cut, 10 Square Games revenues.
I think this is something we would like to present a little bit later, probably with our August conference. So I would like to skip for now and prepare for that and come back to you later this summer.
Yeah, it's based on the distribution contract, and there's certain economic conditions. We'll need to look into that and see some trading to come back and comment on this.
Does the $3 million investment in Sisu give you full access to database and know-how of Sisu? How will the cooperation look like?
So we again, and it's we're contracted. So basically, the idea is that we have a certain visibility through the pipeline of Sisu. So we understand what is there, and based on that, we have a way of understanding what's going on in the market through the lens of Sisu. So that was a key thing for us.
Could you update us on how your M&A pipeline will look like after acquiring Rortos? Obviously not asking about the details, just the broad strokes.
Okay, let me Piotr answer. The pipeline will remain live, so we'll continue to review opportunities. And it is live, so there's other opportunities out there in the market for us. We'll continue to review and engage on the ones where we believe there's greatest value creation potential. But also, what I want to say is now that we've done the first acquisition, it is very important that we deliver on it. So we'll be fully focused on actually leveraging Rortos. It's a very important experience for TSG, also to deploy all the know-how we have in an effective manner. So that's something very much top of our mind for the next few months.
You have just made a relatively large acquisition. Does it mean that potential acquisition of TSG by a strategic investor is less likely currently, or maybe it is unrelated?
I don't want to comment on that. I think that is down to the ones reviewing strategic options of TSG.
Okay, there's no more questions.
Okay. Then thank you very much for your attention and time. I will see you. We'll see you soon.
Thank
Thank you, Antonio, Roberto. Welcome again.
Welcome
See
on
you
board.
soon. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.